Alright, so this is just gonna be a quick video, hopefully. Near the end of the game, you encounter the Spears together with his friend the little guy. Fighting these two mini-bosses at the same time is considered to be the most difficult fight in the game, even harder than Inner Ishin. If you go on YouTube and try to find somebody doing this fight legit, you only get two results. One is a guy who says he could barely get the win 2 or 3 times over the course of like 4 hours of trying, and doesn't recommend this fight at all for how impossible it is. And the other example you find is a guy twinking himself up with sugars and 99 attack power to burst the two bosses and end the fight in like 3 hits for each, which I just find to be boring. Links to those are in the description. The problem with the Sekiro approach to this fight is that if you try to stand still and parry everything like you do in Sekiro, you're going to be met with a barrage of overlaying attacks which eat up your posture in like 3 seconds and kill you. So you don't do the Sekiro thing, instead you do the Dark Souls 2 thing. For the unfamiliar, to Dark Souls 2 means to let go of your targeting and to free aim to run around and weave between enemies and get hits in the openings you get. Now running around being speedy sounds simple enough until you do it, lose control over yourself and die. So I took it upon myself to break this fight down to 3 comprehensible layers that you can practice and learn in order so that you can do this fight head on and come out on top every single time. So without any further ado, the first layer to this fight is slow, boring, and absolutely safe. It's like the bread and butter for this fight. By doing the following, you can already get the win consistently every time. Essentially, what you do is you run around this burning pile until the little guy is closer to you than the Spears is. Now you bait and keep hitting him in between his attacks. Obviously, you need to get a good feel for your range so that you can hit him with the tip of your sword, and he can get a little annoying, but this is really easy and safe. Now do not get baited into the Sekiro parry game with him or you will die. You can get like 3 to 4 hits like this before the Spears catches up to you, at which point you just run around the trees again and reset the fight. If the Spears gets a little too close, make sure you run alongside the radius of the spear. If you run diagonally, you will take a hit. Other than that, you have plenty of time to heal, and make sure to break everything as you're running around the arena to avoid any unnecessary deaths. And that's it. You whittle the little guy's health little by little, and when he dies, the fight is essentially over. You win! Once you get all of this down, you can move on to the second layer, which is where things start to get really interesting. The fight starts going a lot faster, and starts feeling like an actual fight, rather than you just running around. As you might have noticed, the spear stabs a lot, meaning you can get lots of Mikiris on him. Well, how does that help us? We're going for the little guy, not the Spears, right? Well, around half the times you get the Mikiri on the Spears, he can have this scripted follow-up in which you can slap him away from the little guy. The little guy stuns, and you get iframes all throughout the Mikiri and the follow-up. Other than running to the other side of the arena, this by far is the thing that generates the most safety for you during this fight. Now all you have to do is dodge one attack from the little guy and you can start smacking away at him again. Then when the Spears gets up, the fight is reset to the first layer again, except you don't really have to run away that much anymore. You're now going on the offensive, actively looking to take every Mikiri, so that you don't have to waste time running around to separate the two. If he spams it enough, you can even kill the Spears first with this, except just try to remember that he generally doesn't die when he's killed, so try to keep that in mind. Now you can catch every stab while you're right in front of him, or at the edge of his range, so that he teleports to you for the Mikiri. He can literally get pulled through the little guy just to get to you for the animation, so use this to better separate them. 2 particular stabs to watch out for. The first is his Windmill Attack, which he always follows up with a stab. This one's great, honestly. You can just stand there, really take your time, get a drink, reposition, until he actually does the stab. You can watch out for it from the corner of your eye as you're dealing with the little guy. It's just free. It's the freest Mikiri ever. The other stab to watch out for is this 3-stab combo, starting with these 2 quick jabs and ending with a long charged stab. The 2 jabs are really difficult to catch when you're at a range because they're not aimed at you, they're more like swipes. It's kind of annoying, so I usually just wait for the 3rd big stab that comes after. And that's it for layer 2. You can actually already get so aggressive doing this. 9 out of 10 attacks he does you can Mikiri, I'm telling you. Make sure the flames aren't behind you, you get pushed back while doing the Mikiri after all. Just take quick looks behind you while the animation is playing just to make sure. Oh, and do not Mikiri the little guy. Just don't do it. So far the fight has been fairly simple. Just run around, Mikiri everything the Spears does, and take lots of quick jabs at the little guy. Now to take it further beyond. The third layer abuses two attacks that the Spears has, that pretty much like the Mikiri allow you to get past him and get to the little guy. The first of such attacks is one we're already familiar with, the Windmill Attack. You can hit him a few times as he does it, but more importantly you can just sort of walk past him as he does it. From the right side, just walk under him. Not too early, not too late, just before he swipes. Now you're dealing with the little guy again, but you're close enough to the Spears so that he also gets hit. Amazing. The second attack you can walk under like this is his jump attack. It has three parts. First, he goes into a stance where he points the spear at you. Then, when you get into his range, he instantly does an uppercut swipe, which he always follows up with the jump attack. So, you see him in the stance, you bait the uppercut, you dodge backwards, then after he jumps up, you walk past him. If you walk before he jumps, he can track you like 180 degrees midair, like the shitty Dark Souls 2 enemy that he really is. So you dodge back, you fucking wait, and then you walk forwards. Well, why do I get hit here? Well, I dodged forwards into the uppercut. This made it so that he could turn midair, forcing me to dodge into the little guy. Why'd I get hit here? Well, I timed the dodge with the jump attack instead of keeping it for the little guy. This goes for the Windmill Attack too. Once you commit to this move, you ignore the Spears and focus on the little guy. Try not to run, try not to dodge, you keep yourself steady, you walk under him, and you keep your dodge for the little guy. And that's it, that's the fight. To recap, this is how it actually goes. If the little guy is attacking, you jab at him constantly between attacks. If the Spear is attacking, he does one of three things. He stabs, which you Mikiri. He swipes or does an overhead, to which you can get out of the way, or you can punish in between attacks, just like with the little guy. These are just his normal attacks, really. Or he goes into a stance or a windmill, which you can walk under. That's it. Few things they couldn't fit anywhere. If you get cornered here where the idol is, don't panic, just focus on the Spears and wait for him to give you an escape with a Mikiri, or walk under him with one of the layer 3 attacks. You can also jump over his swipes, but always jump away from where the little guy is and not over his head. Generally, jumping is a bad idea in this fight. Sometimes when you're forced to do it, if you get forced into it, make sure you jump away from the both of them and not over them. Sometimes where you're in a pinch, you can use a parry, just as a one-time get out of damage pass. But again, do not get into the Sekiro parry game or you will die much faster than you think. If you find yourself running around in circles, trying to avoid damage helplessly, try swinging in their direction. This will often get them to either block or stagger, which will buy you your way out. This is a good time to bring up deadlocking, which is something speedrunners use, where you aim away from the guy, trying to hit him from your side, which makes it so that they can't block, and you can just chain attacks and stagger them infinitely. The reason I'm not doing this that much is that the little guy has attacks which he doesn't stagger through. His jump attack and his backward step into a swipe, this can really mess you up, so I only do it sometimes. Also, I'm not very good at doing this, which brings us to the end. I hope I've proven by now that this fight is not only possible, but completely reasonable as long as you follow a certain guide. The reason I made this video is that I feel like this is a very, very interesting fight that goes ignored by pretty much everyone. So I'm really eager to see more videos of this fight popping up. Real curious to see what people can do if this is a base. If you can deadlock more, exploit more attacks in more ways, in safer ways, more aggressive ways. I feel like you can style on these guys way more than what I showed here, so it's up to you now. Please go crazy, experiment, have fun with it. Also, I got like 7 hours of footage of me just killing them over and over. I'm considering doing a post-commentary thing on some of those fights, just to show how the fight goes real time, what my thought process is, but maybe it's just not necessary. Let me know if you'd want that kind of thing down in the comments. Alright, keep yourself steady and nimble, keep that mental posture high, and just experiment with it. Have a good one.